Good evening, guys, or good evening, good afternoon. I'm losing track of my time here. It's been a long week up here, putting in some long days, a lot of 16 and 18-hour days up here in D.C. this week, but it's been highly productive. I hope you guys can hear me. I got one of these microphones so that I don't have to yell when I'm in public places like this. From what I hear, the microphone sounds a little suppressed, so I apologize for that. I tried putting it on, apparently when I put it down on my lapel, it's really hard to hear. So hopefully you guys can hear this fine. But I want to give you some updates on what else been going on in D.C. this week. It's been an extremely encouraging week for me. I've been in politics for 40 years at the highest levels and in the shared parenting community for about 10 years now. And I have never been as encouraged as I am right now about us having a chance to finally get some meaningful Title IV-D reform. Now, I don't think it's going to be this year or next. I think realistically it's going to be in year 3 of the new administration. But I think even if you hate Trump, and I'm okay with that, there's a lot of people that hate him, but you have to agree with the fact that at least he's willing to shake things up and not be a status quo. And both sides of the aisle have been horrible of that for the last 40 years. Nobody's willing to make meaningful changes. Well, we do have an administration that says, hey, we're not going to do things status quo. So if there was ever a time for change, this is it. The challenge is, because it is such a time for change, everybody and their brother is up here on Capitol Hill with 8 million issues. And even though it means a lot to us to have Title IV-D reform, we're not even in the same league as things like, Homeland Security and, the budget and education and things like that. So realistically, we're looking at about year 3, but I believe in my heart we are positioning ourselves very, very well. So let me go through some of the stuff I'm not allowed to say, and I don't mean to be cryptic or deceptive. But the way you build relationships with people in the White House and with the members of the House and Senate is you don't disclose and run out telling everybody everything when you're in the middle of the negotiation process. So I apologize. Some of the stuff has to be a little cryptic. If you follow my personal page, you realize that this guy looks like he's had some pretty good meetings based on where these pictures are and who he's with in these pictures. But yeah, it's been a very productive week. Literally have met with members of the DOJ team. Several members of the DOJ team today. I have met with one of the members of the White House today. I'll be meeting with 2 more members of the White House tomorrow. Met with a lot of members of the House and Senate. Got more meetings over on the Senate side in another hour and a half. But it looks like we are getting buy-in. I'm getting buy-in from the administration. I'm definitely getting buy-in from DOJ, getting buy-in from members of the House and members of the Senate. So very, very encouraged at this point. Especially those of you in Indiana. I had a great meeting with Congresswoman Spartz from Indiana. She's from, I think, the Anderson, Indiana area is her district. I had a great meeting. One of my good friends is her new chief of staff, Ola. And so Ola brought me in. And normally I try to never stay more than 20 or 30 minutes with a legislator because you're just overstaying your welcome. You win the battle, but you lose the war. But Ola and I have been friends for a long time, so I spent about a couple of hours with the Congresswoman yesterday, and but she is very, very supportive of our efforts. A couple of our Missouri ones that I met with, some of you saw, if you saw on my personal page, Bob and Allison Onder have been friends of mine for years. They've been good friends with my son Levi. He's been to their house several times. Bob is a new member of Congress from St. Louis, and his wife's up here decorating his office and everything because they just finally got the office assignments for him. So they're doing all the move-in stuff, but a lot of good time with him. My friend Congressman Eric Burleson, who was in the Missouri Senate, helped me quite a bit with the Missouri Equal Shared Parenting Bill years ago. So like I said, a lot of great meeting upstairs. I'll be keeping you up to date. I try to not bombard the TFRM page because TFRM does so much more than just legislation. So I don't want to become a pest where every night it's Mark Ludwig doing another legislative update. If some of you are, really into the legislative aspects, go ahead and follow my personal page. I put the link on here. I don't think you can see the link while I'm talking, but once I get done, if you go back and look at this thread, you'll be able to see the link to follow my personal page. Because there I will pester you. About once a day, I'm usually doing a Facebook Live, giving you ideas of, what's going on in some of the states. This is a very active week for states. We had the Oregon hearing for the Oregon Equal Shared Parenting Bill on Monday. We've got a lot of traction going on in Alabama this year. We've got 3 bills going on in Alabama. Indiana, I'll be going back to Indiana when I get back from D.C. We've got 3 bills going in Indiana. We've got 2 really good bills in Missouri making progress. I got a call from a couple state reps in Missouri today. The South Dakota bill that passed the Senate last week looks like it might be going this Friday to the House in South Dakota, Tom Pischke's bill. Trying to think of what else. We got some bills to kill. In Colorado, we've got some horrible bills. Arizona, we've got some horrible bills. Virginia, unfortunately, that bill passed the House and the Senate. So I'll be meeting with Governor Youngkin on Friday here in D.C. to try and talk him into vetoing that bill. That bill, if it goes into effect, will probably increase child support orders across the board, anywhere from the low of 14% to as much as 25% for every child support order in the state of Virginia. If this thing goes into law, it's a horrible bill. So those of you in Virginia, we need your help so these things don't continue to happen. So I'm meeting with Governor Youngkin to try and talk him into vetoing that bill on Friday. But a lot of good bills, though, going on across the states, all across the country. I know we have great bills in Texas, North Dakota, South Dakota, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Missouri, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina. Oh, that's right. Gil Gatch has some great bills in South Dakota or in South Carolina. Maybe flying out there to testify for a couple of hearings for him. So all in all, a lot going on. If you're interested in more of this, like I said, I try to not pester people because I'm not the most exciting person to hear from, and I realize that. I've got a great face for radio. But if you are interested in legislative stuff, follow my personal page. Australia. It's funny you mentioned that. One of the legislators was here I met with from Australia today. But on my personal page, I do a lot more updates on legislation. So if you want the regular bombarding, follow my personal page. If anybody can help with the finances, these trips are extremely expensive, and I hate to beg for money. I won't put my links on TFRM's page because then everybody and their brother starts trying to use the TFRM page as a fundraiser. But if you can help out financially with this trip, please look at my personal page. I'll have my personal information there to send either a PayPal, a Venmo, or a Zelle. This trip in particular, extremely expensive. Hotels are not cheap in D.C. Airfare, the conferences that I have to be a part of to go to these things, it's in the thousands of dollars to make a trip to D.C. here. And most people know that I drive for Uber to make a living. Well, I can't drive for Uber when I'm out of town here. I'm racking up expenses and having no income coming in. So if anybody can help out, I can promise you this. I'm working my butt off. This isn't something where I just show up for a bunch of photo ops. I got up this morning at 5:30. I won't get to bed till well after midnight. And I know a lot of you do that every day, but I'm just saying that, if you donate, I want you to realize I'm working for you. I'm working my butt off for you. Most people don't have the time to take off work to come to D.C. for a week. Most people don't have the connections. Even if they got here, they wouldn't be able to get into the office. I've just been very fortunate. I've got about 20 very close personal friends that are in the White House, including a lot of Will Scharf. If you follow my personal page, you'll see a lot of pictures of Will with my son Levi, and Will got me invited to the president's house in Bedminster this summer. Will is the legislative assistant to Trump. So almost every picture you see in the Oval Office, Will is that guy, the balding guy standing next to Trump. Usually he holds all the executive orders. When the guy hands him the big black folder and the president signs it, that's my friend Will Scharf. So we're about as into this White House as you can get. And I don't care if you like Trump or not. You can hate him for all I care. I don't care. I just want to get legislation passed. And to do that, we need the White House. So it just helps that I've got about 20 personal friends embedded in the White House at this point. So if anybody's willing to help continue to fund some of this, go to my personal page. If you can help with a Venmo, a PayPal, or a Zelle, I would greatly appreciate it. Because what I did for this trip, I put it, as usual, I put it on a credit card, and then I just hope and pray that somehow the funds come in to be able to pay that credit card off. And they usually don't. And so I've racked up a big bill over the last few months on my credit card bill. But if you're able to help out, I promise you this, I'm working my butt off for you. Anybody who contributes $200 or more, if you send me a private message on my personal Facebook page, I'm going to do a private Zoom for those people on tonight and Friday night, because my attitude is if you're donating money, you got a right to hold me accountable. So I'm going to tell you in detail who I've met with, what I'm doing, what I'm getting accomplished with that money. So if anybody's able to donate $200 or more, go to my personal page. You'll get my information for PayPal, Zelle, and Venmo on there. And then if you do donate, send me a private message with your email address, and I'll get you the Zoom link for the one late tonight and then late Friday. And you're going to get some pretty good information, because I'm meeting with some pretty high-level people. And I don't say to brag or anything like that. I know there's a lot of great people around the country, but I am literally meeting with not the president himself, but as high as you can get at the White House is who I'm meeting with this week. I'm meeting with members of DOJ this week, member of the House, member of the Senate. You're going to get some fun information if anybody's able to contribute $200 or more. So go to my personal page, send me a private message, and then I'll make you a part of those Zooms tonight and Friday. But all in all, like I said, guys, A lot of great things. I'm sure I'll be doing a couple more Facebook Lives on this page. Like I said, I try to not bombard the TFRM page. But since I am in DC and have all these meetings, I probably will do at least one tomorrow and then another one on Friday, giving you at least more updates of how things are going. But appreciate every single one of you. We're all a team here, even though it's me here. I hope you feel just like when I watch a Cardinal game in St. Louis. I'm not on the field, but I'll tell you what, that's my team, and I get excited when the Cardinals win. So I hope you guys get just as excited that even though it's me here, this isn't the Mark Ludwig show. This is our show as a team where we're out here trying to make a difference. So I hope that you feel excited and energized and that you're here with me, because I promise you we're all here in spirit. So thanks again. I appreciate every one of you, and I got to get to my next meeting on the Senate side. Thanks, guys.